came up in the kind of chaos that teaches a child to grow up too fast. Before most people form their first stable memories, I was already learning how to read a room for danger, how to stay quiet when quiet meant safety, how to pack my whole life into a mental suitcase and be ready to move again. Home wasn't a place. It was a temporary situation. Trust wasn't a given. It was a risk. I learned early that asking for help doesn't always work. Not because I didn't try, but because sometimes the people and systems meant to protect you don't respond in time, or at all. That kind of childhood doesn't just hurt, it rewires you. You become hyper-aware. You become adaptable. You become a survivor before you even know what surviving is. You learn to function inside instability, and you learn to keep going even when nobody is clapping for you. Then my body became its own battlefield, living with chronic pain and inflammatory flare-ups through adolescence is its own kind of lonely. It's discomfort that doesn't announce itself politely, and it comes with misunderstanding, embarrassment, and judgment from people who don't live inside your skin. That forced me into early independence, learning how to monitor myself, manage symptoms, and push through days when I didn't feel like I had the right to be tired. Adulthood didn't arrive with a safety net. It arrived with pressure. Limited support turns every decision into a calculation. What will keep me stable? What will keep me safe? What will keep me moving forward when life has been unpredictable for so long you stop waiting for a savior? You become your own structure. You become your own plan. I also learned what institutions feel like from the inside. The way systems can label you, manage you, reduce you, and still expect gratitude. And that experience shaped something fierce in me. Autonomy. Not the I don't need anyone kind, but the I will not be owned by chaos again kind. I began building an inner rule. If it cost me my peace, it cost too much. There were turning points that could have broken me. There were chapters where the world felt heavy, where consequences stacked, where survival demanded choices I'd rather not have had to make. But I kept going, and at some point I did something radical. I chose recovery, I chose clarity over coping. I chose long-term discipline over short-term escape. That choice wasn't a single moment, it was 1,000 moments. It was refusing to quit on myself when quitting would have been easier. Rebuilding after hard chapters teaches you something most people never learn. You don't rise because life gets kind. You rise because you decide you're not done. You learn that stability isn't luck. It's maintenance, it's routines, it's boundaries, it's systems. It's the unglamorous work of choosing yourself over and over again. Loss also reshapes you. Grief is an identity shift. It doesn't just take someone. It rearranges your internal world. It forces you to ask, who am I now? What am I carrying forward? What matters enough to rebuild around? I learned that love and responsibility can be sacred, and that pain can either hollow you out or turn you into someone more intentional. I chose intentional. Then came the kind of instability that tests everything you've built. Conflict, false narratives, sudden displacement, legal stress, and the feeling of your life being decided by other people's chaos. That's the moment old survival patterns try to come back. Panic over explaining shrinking, but I refuse to shrink. I refuse to be pulled back into a life where my safety depends on someone else's mood. I learned to move differently, not begging for acceptance, not bargaining for peace, but enforcing it. I learned to stop living in anything is better than nothing. I learned that available is not the same as safe, and company is not the same as care. That's when boundaries became more than a concept. They became a lifestyle. I shifted from survival-based availability to sustainable self-respect. Clear rules, clear standards, clear pricing and protocols. Not because I'm cold, but because I value what it costs me to be present. I value my time. I value my nervous system. I value my future. Creativity that became a weapon in a sanctuary. When you've lived through chaos, creation is how you reclaim agency. You take the mess and you turn it into something you control. Humor, music, characters, stories, systems. You make something that can't be taken from you. You build a universe that answers back. You create not for attention but for grounding, for meaning, for power. And that's the point people miss. I'm not interested in reinvention, I'm interested in reinvention. Can be performance, reset is truth, reset is repair, reset is rebuilding the foundation so the whole structure holds.
My philosophy is simple. Resilience without erasing history. I won't pretend the past didn't happen, just to make other people comfortable. Boundaries of self-respect, I don't negotiate my safety anymore. Reset over reinvention, I rebuild what's real, instead of decorating what's broken. Systems over saviors, I trust routines, plans, and consistency more than promises. Creativity is agency I make because it keeps me sovereign. Trust is earned slowly, not because I'm bitter, because I'm wise. I'm built from disruption and recalibration. I've lived the cycle enough times to understand the pattern. When life fractures, you can either collapse or recalibrate. Stop! I recalibrate! I build structure!